Welcome to Naked Core, all the way from beautiful and remote Bolivia in a little town called Sorata. It's very primitive but beautiful and natural. And here are our goodies we went to get from the market today so we can cook something up for you guys all the way from Bolivia to show you how you can eat when you're on the road. Really easy with a plant-based food no matter where you go. So we're going to go to our little kitchen and we'll get started in a few minutes. This is our little place. We actually cooked here last night in the dark with a candle, so this is round two. Last night was amazing, really couldn't have filmed it. This is our little space, our stove. I think this is propane gas, and really almost nothing. There's even no water here, so I have to go get water from upstairs, but as you can see, the nature we saw when we went down is absolutely fascinating here. So we're going to go rinse the veggies upstairs and our little pot, and we'll get started in a few minutes. Alright, so we're about to get started. We have a special guest today. Usually it's behind the camera, but today we put the camera up so you can film. JC is joining us for cooking to make this a lot faster. And hopefully enjoy this session and show you how you can cook anywhere you are. So here are ingredients. We bought it just a little bit ago. It was maybe a total of $1 or 70 cents or something like that for all our ingredients. We have 3 tomatoes, 2 carrots.
I'm not really sure what this is.
Yeah, not sure what this is, but there's some kind of beans that pop out of this thing.
Green beans.
Yeah, green beans. And this is, I think it's parsley. It tastes really good. Yeah? We tried it yesterday. It was really delicious. Just got some local pasta, and here's an onion to add for flavor. And because we couldn't find any seasoning, this is some kind of like a garlic salt. So that's the only seasoning we found. And we're not cooking with any oil today, so that's a plus. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna launch the propane gas here and get the water going for the pasta. While we do that, we're going to start chopping up the veggies. So the really cool thing about all these veggies we got, this is literally grown probably within a 5-mile radius or less, maybe a mile radius. It's all local. It's all supporting the local community. It's grown without any pesticides, to our knowledge, once we talk to the locals. And it's really neat to be able to eat everything so fresh. Everything kind of, there's so many shapes of carrots because everything is natural. It's not all uniform. It's really cool. And plus, you know, eating like this on the road is so much cheaper, especially when you travel to, you know, expensive countries. It's probably even cheaper than eating out in restaurants all the time. So JC got a propane tank going here, so the gas is heating up the water now for the pasta. I've already kind of been doing this in our previous cooking, but since we didn't want to get a bottle of oil and we couldn't find any olive oil, so we figured we'll just steam saute it with water, and it worked out really, really well. So it's really interesting coming from a place where you have all your so-called comforts to prepare food, but realizing that we can just cook anywhere at home without having all the fancy equipment. Yes, the table is shaking a little bit, but it's still really neat. So the first thing you want to do is, if you're making this dish, is you want to start with the onions first, carrots second, because the carrots are hard, and then I'm going to do my usual trick of putting the one tomato to cook with the dish together. because the taste of it is really delicious. And then we'll add the rest of the ingredients, and the parsley is going to be last. So the first thing I'm going to do is add the onions here. The onions gives really good flavor.
I'm already crying from the onions.
I told you, bring it to your mouth. And where's our little, we don't shop a little wooden spoon here in this kitchen. That's the really cool thing about staying in a hostel instead of a hotel. Sometimes you're okay. Sometimes if you do a little bit of research, you'll find online that some hostels or guest houses allow cooking. Not always in their main kitchen. Like this is a kitchen way away from the ground. Oh yeah, like drip irrigation. Bolivia's been amazing. It's funny because when we first started the trip, we were getting used to a lot. But now it's like, over time, we're really falling in love with this place. Maybe I shouldn't use falling in love because that's a weird term, but more like the place is really getting to us in a really good way. So the onions are, sorry I didn't show you this. You okay? What I'm doing is, instead of oil, I'm just adding a little bit of water to the onions. Stir frying it with water instead of with oil. And it comes out really tasty. And the next thing I'm going to do is the carrots. This knife, I don't know, it's amazing. I can hardly cut anything with it, but it still cuts. So yeah, a meal in a restaurant here has been costing us what, about $10 to $15?
No,
less. No, actually $10.
$6.
$6? Oh yeah, you're right, about $6. Which is not a lot. We've actually been surprised to find some vegan options here and there, and people are quite accommodating to make you a vegan dish. Like we went to one restaurant and they just pulled off vegan lasagna just because we told them that we don't eat dairy. So yeah, it's been pretty cheap eating in restaurants sometimes, or little, mom and pop corners. But cooking all this, it's been even.
This was really cheap.
I think we should travel more because I like cooking with JC together. It's more fun. All nice and brown onions. See, you can get brown onions without even using any oil. It's pretty cool. And we made the same dish last night, and it was really just as tasty without the oil. So here are carrots in here. No, that's fine. The water's not cooking yet, huh? And in the meantime, I'm going to cut up one tomato and use that tomato to season our dish. I've done that in our other dishes too. I just think it adds really good flavor. So I just use a little bit of, one tomato for the seasoning to the dish. Adds almost like a salty, tangy taste to it. And the other tomatoes I'm going to use last minute before we finish cooking, so they stay whole. You can have a piece if you want. Finish up. So here's our tomatoes for the seasoning. These tomatoes are going to literally disappear once they've been cooking for about 5 minutes or so. So here's our green peas in it. JC's adding some seasoning. That's like a garlic.
Garlic salt.
Yeah, it's almost actually more garlic than salt. Actually,
Dried garlic.
Yeah, so I don't even know if it has a salty flavor to it, but it does add a garlicky taste to it. So it's already looking pretty good, and it's got all that moisture from the tomato, and all the juices going through. So I think this is a cheap dish, traveling dish, or even at home dish, even in more expensive countries. And You got all the nutrients here. And it was quite filling last night, and in the morning we woke up like we haven't even eaten, so I don't know if it's because the veggies here are so healthy or what it was, but they just right through us. So in the meantime, I'm gonna also cut up the pepper. I'm gonna add this a little bit before it's done cooking, and the tomatoes last, and the parsley for garnish.
These pasta we're using.
It's like elbows. Yesterday there was a different shape, but they just come in these bulk, giant bags at the market, and so cheap. So this is going to be the tomato that goes into the dish last minute. So I'm just making it pretty, cutting like long slices. I want to slow down this because the pasta's still going to take a little while to cook. So I have everything almost ready here. Ooh, that's cooking fast. I'm just going to separate the parsley leaves, and that's just garnished. Oh, check out what I found here. And that's just garnished on top of the dish. And it adds really delicious taste. Okay, so you can see here that the tomato pretty much disappeared, the first one, and it became part of the taste, like a savory taste. And JC's been adding spoonfuls, maybe a teaspoon every few minutes of water to keep the veggies from burning. And we're not using oil, so you want to keep it moist so it doesn't get burned. Our pasta is ready. See, you just added some more. Our pasta is ready, so I'm going to go in and drain it really quick. So here's our pasta. Hope you can see it. Trying to work with the camera angles over here. So hope you can see my face too. Here it is, and we're just going to mix it with the veg. Actually, we can top the veggies on this once we're ready. So JC just added the green peppers to the dish, and he's also going to add the tomato. We're pretty much done, just finalizing a little bit. So here, JC's adding the tomatoes to this. And after literally 30 seconds or a minute, it's going to be ready to eat. So here's our pasta. Just going to add that first to the bowls. And our final thing for this dish is some delicious fresh parsley, just to top it off with flavor. And here's our dish. Hope you can see it. Hope you enjoyed our session from the very pleasant and primitive kitchen here in Bolivia. And we're gonna go chow down. See you next time on Naked Core.